Now, the past couple of months have seen so many people turning to the kitchen during the nationwide lockdown due to the coronavirus pandemic. Well, chef, restaurateur and businesswoman Natasha Sideris offers some tips to home cooks in her second cookbook titled Tasha's Inspired, a celebration of food and art. This offering aims to encourage us to embrace cooking and serving food in a way that is all about creating an entire experience, especially during this difficult period. Well, Tasha, as she's popularly known, joins us now via Zoom to tell us more about this offering, as well as make us better understand the force behind the Tasha's brand. Tasha, a very good morning to you. Thanks for joining us. Welcome. Hi, Tasha. Good morning.
How are you?
There you go. Very well, Tasha. Good to see you and good to have you on the show.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you, Tasha. Go ahead. Can you hear me?
Good morning.
Hi, Tasha. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you loud and clear. Let's start with the book, Tasha's Inspired, a celebration of food and art. What's in this book and why was it important for you to put it together?
Okay, so the book started, we got our first Tasha's Classic Cookbook, of course, and it started as an idea to do a second cookbook. And with so many things at Tasha that happened organically, we initially were just going to celebrate our signatures in our restaurants. We started shooting the cookbook and decided to really celebrate the places that I had been to and the places that inspire me. And then we shot the entire thing in our test kitchen in Athol Square in Johannesburg. So it took 4 months of shooting day and night. And really, we built sets inside the test kitchen to create a feeling of all the places that I love and some inspiration of types of dining experiences that I enjoy. And the idea was to inspire home cooks to be able to create that setting. So we've got playlists inside the book, we've got art inside the book, and over 100 recipes.
Okay.
So quite a unique cookbook. It's a sensory experience.
Okay. You know, Tasha's is so many South Africans, one of their favorite restaurants, is also one of my favorites. And just take us through how you got into the South African food scene and how you worked your way up to where you are today.
Okay, so I'll try and make it as brief as possible. My dad was a restaurateur, and I had always sworn that I wouldn't get involved in the food business because it is a tough business with a lot of variables. But my dad opened the fishmonger in Rivonia, and I was busy studying psychology. He said, come and help out on a few shifts. And I suppose that was it. I was hooked, to the adrenaline. I love people. I love entertaining. And I love the whole experience of feeding people and just satisfying the guests. And, of course, working with the staff.
Yeah.
I then joined Nino's. I opened a couple of stores for them. I had opened a couple of fishmongers at my time when I was there. My dad was at head office. And then I decided to open Tasha's in Athol Square 15 years ago. So Tasha's is 15 years old.
Wow.
I think 2008 did a JV with Famous Brands. I've recently bought them out. We've got 8 stores in Dubai. We have 16 stores in South Africa, and we're on a global expansion plan. So that's a very short and brief summary of a lot of hard work.
And quite inspirational, actually. And what do you think makes your food recipes and restaurants so popular among your patrons?
I would have to say that we really try and keep our dishes as uncomplicated as possible, use the freshest ingredients, and we've never wavered from making all our food on order. And that's been one of the tenets of the menu since we started. We make everything on order. There's very little mise en place in the kitchen. So, when you're ordering a fruit salad, that fruit salad has been cut on order for you. Yeah. You're making up another salad, tomatoes are cut on order. And I think freshness in product is key. Sure. And then, of course, keeping up with trends, but not trying to bend to every trend that comes into the marketplace because the world's moving at such a fast pace. One day poke bowls are in, and then the next day quinoa's in, and the next day this is in, and the next day that is in. You've got to decide, what your identity is and who you are. And of course, bring in some key elements of the trends, but just really stay true to your core.
Okay. And this is the time of the year, Tasha, where families usually go all out on lunches and dinners. And in the book, you share tips for table settings, stunning photography, and original art. Take us through that.
Yeah. So, as I said, what started out as just being a cookbook turned into so much more than that. So, food really is art, and entertaining is really an art. And when we started building these sets inside the test kitchen, literally, 25, 30 square meters space, we thought, wouldn't it be wonderful to include some tips for our readers and people who buy the book on how to set the mood. So, for example, when you're in the Spanish affair, we went to Lieberman Potteries, found all these beautiful old Spanish tiles and Spanish vessels, and we built a tapas table. And we made sure that we created that mood. And then to add to that, obviously, we've got the music. So while you're cooking or entertaining, you've got the Spanish playlist playing in the background.
Okay.
And then, of course, the art is a vital part of the book. We thought, let's include some art because, as I said, food is art, and what better way to celebrate than presenting some artists in the book. So we've got 33 artists, of which majority are South African. I think 5 are not South African. The balance are all from South Africa. And there's 70 pieces of art in the book, all catalogued at the back, so you can buy their works at the galleries or directly from them.
Tasha, I know that so many people are quite interested in finding out what you will be making this Christmas and throughout the festive season.
I'm hopefully not going to be cooking on Christmas Day, and hopefully I'm going to friends and family who are going to be cooking for me. I'm sure I'll get roped into making 1 or 2 dishes. But normally Christmas Eve is traditionally Greek for us. So we'll do, the lamb on the spit and all the trimmings and the roast potatoes and the tzatziki's and all of that goes with it. But I'm going to have a traditional English Christmas lunch, which I'm hoping my friends are going to be cooking for me.
Of course, you need to be spoiled and pampered, Tasha. Yeah. And one of your recent accolades is you being awarded the Restaurateur of the Year award in Dubai. Tell us more about that and what it truly means to you. No surprises there.
So I've had a great week this week. And in fact, the last couple of weeks, we launched a cookbook in South Africa, which is available in all our stores and at exclusive books. We launched it in Dubai. And at the same time as launching the book in Dubai, I got named #1 on the Power list, top 50 by Caterer Middle East. And I was named Restaurateur of the Year. So, Dubai has been my home for the last 5-6 years. We've built a great business here. Tasha's is, also as well known as it is in South Africa, so very well supported. And to win Restaurateur of the Year, especially in a year that's been so uncertain, means a lot to me. So Restaurateur of the Year in the Middle East. Yeah.
Okay. And you've recently launched this book. How is the experience and feedback been like from those that have read it?
Look, it's been phenomenal. We've sold, I think, over 350 books. It's only been out for the last, I think, 2 weeks. And it's been incredible. I think people view it not only as a cookbook, but also as a coffee table book. I mean, it's really a piece of art in itself, quite weighty. We were pedantic about the printing and the publishers were absolutely fantastic about that. So Quivertree's been incredible. So I think the book's incredible, and I want to start planning the next one, but I just want to sort of revel in the success of this one and enjoy it before I start planning the next.
Well, I'm sure it is already on the bookshelves, and I'm sure there is a copy that I can get at Tasha's, right?
Of course there is. So we're selling them at all the Tasha's. They're available at all our stores. They're available at exclusive books. They'll soon be available in Dubai on Amazon and in one of the major bookstores here as well. So, be pretty easy to get.
Okay. Now, the book came out at a time when the rest of the world is still battling with the pandemic. What are you hoping that the book will do, especially for those hit hard by this pandemic?
Well, look, the book had been 2 years in planning and 2 years in making. So we certainly didn't start the book during the pandemic. We just sort of finished it off. And actually, I've got a funny story. I flew back to South Africa in March to tie up the book. And, there were only whispers of COVID and lockdowns. And everyone sort of brushed it off. And I landed back in Dubai 4 days before lockdown happened. And had I not made that trip to South Africa for those 3 days to finish the book, with the designer and the artist and the photographer, we would have never completed the book. What am I hoping? I think there's a lot of negative, obviously, that's come out of COVID. It's been traumatic for a lot of businesses, and on a personal level, and the loss of human lives is devastating. I mean, if there's some stuff that I'd like to take out of COVID is learning to reconnect with friends and family. That's been a big lesson that's come out of COVID. Hopefully, we're more conscious of the planet around us. And also just to slow down and enjoy some stuff, and one of those maybe being the book, playing some music in the background and the appreciation of cooking. I think COVID, with all the lockdowns, everyone's back in their kitchens making sourdough.
Right. And what's your favorite dish? I mean, what's that one dish that you would advise us to make on Christmas Day?
Look, I think Christmas Day is for anything that's traditional. So it depends on what culture you come from and what your culture deems to be traditional for Christmas Day.
Okay.
For us, as I said, it's lamb, lamb on the spit. That's what we do on Christmas for the Greeks. And then, of course, you've got to do your roast turkeys with all your trimmings and your bread sauce. And you have to do that.
All right. Tash.
In the Christmas spirit.
Great chatting to you, Tash, and all the best, hey.
Thank you very much. Thanks for having me on.
Thank you. Have a great day. Many thanks to chef and restaurant owner Natasha Sideris. And we've been speaking to her about her journey in her South African food business, as well as a newly published cookbook titled Tashas Inspired, a celebration of food and art. Let's take a quick break.